Live from Lagos, welcome to Lunchtime Politics. We keep track and bring you up to speed with the big happenings in politics and in the polity right here at midday. So let's get started with the headlines. From Edo Plateau, Kano, Ibadan, Edo, and other states of Nigeria, Nigerian Union of Teachers hit the streets to protest against the abduction of students and teachers in the Gov'ship area of Oyo State. Lagos State Police Command debunks invasion or news of invasion of bandits targeting schools and children in parts of the state. Says story is false and warns against misinformation. Thanks again for joining us on the program. At midday, we binge through the highlight of the biggest stories and bring you up to speed as far as those stories are concerned. My name is Jeffrey Uzong, and of course, it's almost 20 days down the line. Those children and their teachers are still in abductors' den in the Gov'ship area of the state. There are promises by the government, but everyone is very unhappy. So we've seen Nigerian Labour Congress, alongside affiliate unions, civil society groups, and teachers staging a peaceful demonstration in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, calling for the urgent rescue of abducted teachers and pupils in Oyo State. The protesters took to major streets demanding immediate action from the federal and security agencies. Meanwhile, similar protests are ongoing in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, where members of the Nigerian Union of Teachers have held a solidarity march. They're demanding an end to rising insecurity, better protection for educators and their students, and the immediate rescue of abducted school children and their teachers. Back here in Lagos, protesters have also taken to the streets, echoing the demands raised in Ogun and Oyo. Their message remains consistent: the urgent need for safe learning environment and the immediate rescue of abducted teachers and students in Oyo State. So that protest is not just in the places we've told you about. It's happening in Kano, it's happening in Edo, it's happening in Taraba. These are some of the places we've been tracking, and the demand is absolutely consistent. Teachers and their students must be protected. And those children and their teachers who are still in abductors' den, in fact, one of them was killed, or two of them were killed, but at least we know about one that was killed. They're demanding their release. The government has led a delegation, federal government has led a delegation, led by the Chief of Staff, the National Security Advisor, the IGP of Police, the Minister of Defense. The Governor of Oyo State has also visited with promises. So we're hoping that we're going to hear good news pretty soon. But it just tells you how disturbing the situation can be when insecurity prevails in our country. And we hope the government can rise to the occasion to change that trajectory. Let's talk about Lagos State, where the police command here has debunked recent social media reports of an alleged invasion by armed bandits in some areas of the state. A statement by the public relations officer of the state, Abimbola Adebisi, the police are calling for calm after reports circulated claiming armed herdsmen were targeting schools in Ibejuleki, Imota, Okafor, and other parts of the state. The command described the reports as false, misleading, and intended to cause and create unnecessary fear, as it had unfortunately led to the killing of a 24-year-old motorcycle rider who was alleged to be an armed bandit and was subsequently lynched. Very disturbing development there. So we must be careful what we spread so that we don't get innocent people killed. Let's tell you about Delta State High Court sitting in Asaba that has remanded a dismissed ASP, police as Usman Nuhu, and 4 others dismissed police officers at the Ogwashiuku Correctional Center over the alleged extrajudicial killing of a 28-year-old Ogene Mene Ogidi in a Funru Delta State. The suspects were brought before the court in connection with April the 26, 2026 shooting of Ogidi, an incident that sparked widespread outrage after a video of the incident circulated on social media. At the hearing, the presiding judge ordered that the defendants be remanded for 15 working days pending legal advice from the Delta State Attorney General. The court also directed all subsequent proceedings involving accused persons be conducted virtually. And from issues around security, let's delve into the issue of politics, because it's a combination of happenstance or circumstance or incident, if you will. While this development around insecurity is pervading, politicians are also busy trying to get re-elected or getting elected into different offices from federal to state level. So let's bring in my guest, Blessing Fubara, a governorship aspirant in Rivers State under the platform of the Nigeria Democratic Congress, NDC. Mr. Fubara, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you and good afternoon.
All right, so we were seeing reports. In fact, I've seen a lot of stories saying that Chief Dumo Lulu Briggs is the flag bearer of your party. That's the story we have. We are aware that you're one of those who picked the form for the NDC in Rivers State. I think there are about 5 of you, if my record is correct, who picked the form. And we understand primaries were conducted, but later we now saw that Dumo Lulu Briggs emerged as the candidate for the party in the state. But it looks like there is a different story from your end as to who is actually the flag bearer of the NDC. Is that correct?
Not a different story. As a matter of fact, I would employ that we stop carrying on the rumors. Hence, the party has already come out to issue a statement disregarding, because the Nigerian Democratic Congress is a reliable and reputable party, you know, that works with the tenets of the guidelines for internal, free and fair democracy. So, of course, that's also what I think Nigerians would see and look into properly, because these are some of the antiques of the previous politics, the politics of the day that brought us to where we are, where individuals could just stay and concoct stories and make up just to see how to drive, you know, the ears of the people or the storyline to a perspective narrative. So that being said, the party has issued a disclaimer, and the position of the party is guided by the capacity of the internal mechanism to ensure that we do not only just present candidates, we present candidates that will emerge from the will of the people. So that report is wrong, and to still go on further to say that we are also doing this not because we're prolonging the controversy as it seems. We always try at every point in time to make it very clear that there's a difference from when the process is wrong and when there is a controversy with the system. In this case, the controversy is not with the system, but the process. You know, every process is being directed by a team. So most times teams can be compromised, and I believe that every strong political democratic party also takes to the capacity of the internal mechanism to see that these issues are looked into, addressed, and of course at the end of the day we'll come out strongly as a political party to contend in the forthcoming election. So the result has not been declared by the party. The rumors you hear on the social medium and even some that some of your television news carry, those things are not true. So we also need to debunk this and put the case and the facts properly as it is.
Okay, to be fair to you, I can see here your party, when was this released? This was about May the 31st, which is about 2 days ago. The National Publicity Secretary or SAR Director, Esquire, that's his name here, that the general public is hereby urged to disregard the various results circulating on social media as the outcome of the nationwide primaries conducted by the Nigeria Democratic Congress on the 28th to the and 29th of May 2026. So first issue, it looks like all the politicians are literally the same. I heard also that the PPC also talked about the NWC will announce result. I understand the politics that it is actually the political parties that presents the names and nomination or candidate nominated on their platform to INEC. That is what the law says, according to Section 29, gives that timeline that it is parties. That's why we don't have independent candidate. It is political parties that present candidate. It looks like, literally, NDC is not immune from the shenanigans of typical politicians in Nigeria across other party lines, because if election was conducted and results are announced, what is the crime in it if nothing wants to be had, if there's no plan to, change things in between the lines, although we respect the fact that the national leadership of the party has a responsibility to submit names. I think that's their work. Announcing names, I don't know about that.
Okay, I will say this. I will say this for us to also get it clear. When we say NDC being immune from the same thing with other political parties, that's again not correct, because one of the reasons why you see the party system would have to call for a pre-NEC and a NEC meeting, which is even ongoing as we speak, is because they are quite different from the usual. You will agree with me that politicians make up the political parties, and if you must come up with something new, you must do something differently. Because we are looking at the section that transmits the name of the candidate to the INEC, and the party also wants to be sure that the will of the people prevails in the internal selection before this name is being transmitted. That is why the party had to come in and also now converge to ensure that these results, like I said to you, the results were not released by the party. We all were in our different local governments to stand for the primaries because it was a direct primary. And imagine when somebody goes to his local government, gets the crowd, put the crowd together, and you show that this crowd makes you the winner in Rivers State, which is quite wrong. And this has, brought the party to the point of lots of criticisms that shouldn't be. But I commend the internal mechanism of the party for resolution and management of this maze, which also they have demonstrated that it's a party that imbibes with the tenets of transparency, equity, and fairness in terms of internal party politics, because if we must come out strongly, then we must come up with a candidate that emerged, like I keep saying, by the will of the people, as demonstrated at the last primaries. So even while that result was
Fubara,
announced by a
because
candidate,
of time,
by an
I want to get
you also would see that we now had results that was brought out by independent observers.
If you can hear me, sir, can you hear me? If you can see me or hear me.
I do not even know.
Mr. Fubara, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, fantastic. So that
yes,
please just maybe pay attention, so that if I'm interjecting, it's for a reason, so I can ask as many questions as possible. Yeah. Who was the chairman of the primary election committee that was sent from the national NWC this time? What was the name of the person?
Dr. Osusu was sent.
Okay, so what you're saying now is that, so let me walk with you on this one. So it was sent, elections were conducted across the 23 local government areas, and in Rivers State, was there any point in time when the doctor that was sent announced results collated across the local government areas?
No, we didn't have any announcement across the 23 local government areas.
No, I'm not talking about across the 23.
Very unfortunate, when teams were sent...
Just hold on, sir. Just hold on. If you can hear me, just hold on. I'm saying the elections will be conducted in the 23 local government, and they will be collated at a collation center for the states. Where was the collation center for the state?
I can't hear you. If you're hearing me, I can't hear
you. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, clearly now.
Okay, fantastic. I'm saying that I'm not talking about the results announced at the various local governments. When elections are conducted at the local government level, they will be brought to the, collation center at the state level now to announce who won or who got what number of votes when it's computed. Did that happen at a collation center that is more like the state collation center for the governorship primary?
In this case, party instructed that all results will be announced here in Abuja. Notwithstanding, at every collation center, the results was seen, and of course, the returning officers took the results back to the collation center at the state level. So he did the announcement of his own figures at his local government, and of course, used this to impose being the winner at the entire 23 local government, which is absolutely not correct.
What I'm asking again, let me repeat myself. There is a state election, the chairman of the state primary governorship election, primary election committee. There's a chairman. I think you mentioned his name. I've forgotten his name just now. You mentioned his name.
Yeah,
I'm saying that the gentleman who was sent to conduct that exercise is the returning officer for that exercise. Did he officially make any declaration when all of the results were brought to a collation center in Rivers State, or he took it and went to Abuja? That's my question.
I didn't see him do any. I'm not aware of any.
Okay. Because that in itself raises question as to, that's why I'm saying the NDC is technically not different from the APC or any other. Even the APC, sometimes we see declarations across board. But let's move on now. The language, let me talk about, because I want to come to the issue of Rivers State. So I'll leave your party, because we had a Maker AK earlier today. He took your position as well as to the headquarters of the NDC to announce the results. But at least you have agents across the 23 local governments. You know what you scored and what every other candidate scored. Am I correct?
Very correct. Even though the agents were denied access from participating, we have a case of my own local government. As the Guba aspirant, I made sure that there were complete representation according to the agent, you know, to see that, yes, we are dealing with the will of the people. But across board, you know, there were lots of compromise. There were lots of compromise. These are the ways that even other aspirants also expressed, you know, at the press conference that we had amongst us as aspirants. At the morning of the primaries, we were called to come have a meeting with the committee and the chairman at the state secretariat, which all of the other aspirants were at that place at the time of the meeting as scheduled, and we didn't find anybody. So that was where you saw the first press statement, because that was where we noticed that there's been a lot of compromise. And across the 23 LGAs, our agents were not allowed to see the result sheet. Compromise of, you know, intercepting the agent and restricting them access to participation.
So,
but like I said, thank God we had an observation from credible observers that also came up, you know, and did their own publication about me having a lead in 15 local governments across the 23 LGAs, which I also kept myself a bit distant from, as credible as their observations were.
Mr. Fubara,
but
so
because
the way elections work, if I may, the way elections work, because I have had trouble engaging politicians on when it comes to numbers. Election is about numbers. Do you have, for a fact, the number of votes recorded for you and every other candidate, for every other aspirant in this primary election? Do you have it at your disposal that, for instance,
obviously,
if somebody else is announced,
absolutely,
you pitch?
I do have.
Okay, I wanted to be sure of that.
But I do have, but we do not have the right to announce figures or numbers. That is solely the party prerogative. You know, we're aspirants, we must abide by the regulations and the standards of the process as stipulated by the party. But of course, yes, I do have my results, and in due time, it will be presented to the party.
So how is the NDC, now, the way the NDC is structured, and this is me as a student of politics watching the political space, it's difficult to make headway when the political party looks like a one-man show. And sometimes it looks like a Seraki Distinct show because he founded the party. And I don't know what the party structure says.
Absolutely not correct.
Just hold on, just hold on. So I'll read to you the press statement of the one that talked about the the results being announced at the national level. Paragraph 3, if you can pay attention and the viewers can listen to this, of the press statement says, on the order of the national leader of our party, His Excellency Distinguished Senator Seriake Dixon, a NEC meeting of the party has been called. This is the first time in my life I have seen somebody summoning a NEC meeting who is not a chairman of the party. Your party should have a chairman. I should be correct with that. It is the chairman that should summon a NEC meeting, not the... You know why I'm raising this point?
I would get you... I will correct you. I will correct you on that note. Every political party is structured in line with the tenets that they can actually show transparency and internal democracy in the party. The NDC is one of the only political parties today that we have that runs a proper structure from the national leadership to even the ward levels. Outside the NWC, the NDC structure has shown that there is a coordination in the structural direction of the party. So when you see the paragraph you just read, this does not mean that the powers of the NWC is behaving on the national leadership. No, but as a matter of communication, the structure of communication and the structure of the party in line with how the channels work is what you just read. So this does not in any way try to stand on the part or challenge the powers of the NWC as you see in other parties.
So are you telling our audience, just hold on, Mr. Fubara,
some of the wrongs and the errors of other parties that makes them, deprive the people of fairness and equity in internal democracy.
Mr. Fubara, if I may comment,
exercise and process.
Are you saying in your... I will try and take a look at your party's constitution on that provision. Are you saying in your party...
I really can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you now.
Are you saying in your party constitution, the national leader of your party has the power to order for a NEC meeting? Is that what you're... Just give me a straight answer, or if you're aware of that in your constitution.
That is not what I'm saying. I'm saying in the channel of communication, the national leader has the right to direct communication as agreed by the structure of the party that it concerns.
Okay. So let's talk about the River State. When we ask these questions, we smile because we'll come back and tell you we told you. Because Nigeria is looking for alternative.
I really can't hear you. I really can't hear you. I'm having problems hearing you clearly.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, now I can. It just keeps fluctuating.
Okay, I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me better now?
Better now. All
right, fantastic. So let's talk about the chance of the NDC. People are here on Wike, who is leading what he calls the Rainbow Coalition. Is saying that other ADC, any other party, you will be lucky to even get 10% of the votes in Rivers State. How do you react to that?
We're actually at a defining moment in Rivers State today. And you can see from all you see from the news, from the reports on ground, and of course, from an independent observation, you can see that the people are tired of endless political battles. The people actually want a government, a system that would engender development, that would engender responsible leadership and stability in governance. So for us, it's not yet time for us to get into that. Let's be done with the party level at the primaries and see a candidate emerge according to the will of the people. We're not also coming out to join words. It's a time for us to be proactively determined, to bring forth solution to the people. It's not about who sits on the seat today in Rivers State, but it's about who can restore the soul of Rivers State, to bring governance, to attend to the needs of the people, to ensure that we develop Rivers State, a governance that will actually listen to Rivers people and put together, because leadership is not to deepen conflict, but leadership is to restore possibilities. There's no investor that comes to invest money anywhere that politics after election dominates governance, because that's the risk in investment. So we must also get out of this politics of issues. We must get out of this politics of drawdown syndrome, because the state suffers. Within the years that all of these endless political battles has carried on, Rivers State has lost a lot in economic prosperity, lost a lot in development, lost a lot even in the leaks of, the interest as it concerns other states in the country. Why? Because we don't have an organized political structure that gives governance to the
Mr. Fubara, let me come in. Yes, let me come in here. Fantastic points you've raised, and I hope that I wish you guys the very best. But let's talk about two things quickly, in quick succession. Are you related to the incumbent governor of Rivers State in any way? Your name is Fubara.
Yeah. Yes, I am.
Brother, cousin, nephew, what exactly?
He's my first cousin. Okay,
it's your first cousin. Okay, I wanted to establish that. Now, there's something I want you to address before we wrap up. And I've been looking through history. I think the job people are found in Delta, they are found in Akwa Ibom, they are found in, I don't know whether they're in Edo. Let me just add Edo. They're found in Rivers. Of course, they're in Bayelsa State. I don't know whether they're in Ondo as well. The first Ijaw person to have successfully been in office two successive terms, that's 8 years complete, uninterrupted, is Serake Dixon. The second is Doye Diri. Every other Ijaw person in some states where we have Ijaw people, they've not even had the opportunity to rule. But where they've had opportunity, they've never been able to do beyond one term. So Serake Dixon is the first, Doye Diri is the second. What is it about Ijaw nation and inability to make that political progress and transition?
Okay, as strong as your point and the sentiment is, before I get into the question and the answer, I would like to clarify something. So we don't premise our ambition and our roadmap on ethnic sentiment. Yes, you're quite correct with that. But one of the fundamental points that we must look at is the issue of the senatorial district. We have 3 senatorial districts in Rivers State, the Rivers Southeast, the Rivers East, and Rivers West senatorial district. And it is very pertinent to note that in the years past, politically, we've seen other senatorial districts, the East and the West, run, a period of almost 18 to 16 years, consecutively. We had the Peter Orderly, we had the Rotimi Amechi, we had the Nyesom Wike, that's 24 years. And we had the Omeha, Celestine Omeha, few months, within the time. That was also not from the River Southeast or the Riverine. So we're saying that at this point in time, we must get things right. The senatorial district must complete their tenure of 4 years. So that's why, in line with our national leadership mantra of one single tenure for Nigerians, we are also standing on that vow of one single tenure completion of 4 years for the River Southeast senatorial district. So we don't distort the dichotomy of the senatorial district interest representation. That is also going to now prolong another political sentiment that will sow a very dangerous political seed in decades to come. And if you look properly, amongst all other aspirants that we have, I am the only, I would say, standing apart from 1 or 2 others that are neither here nor there, standing from the senatorial district. And talking about the Ijaw sentiments that you mentioned about, of course, we have the dichotomy of the upland and the riverine rivers. But I am not standing on this, because there's no upland and riverine dichotomy sentiment if children cannot access good school.
We're totally out of time, Mr. Fubara.
There's no upland and riverine dichotomy when people cannot find employment.
Yes.
There's no upland
my apologies, Mr. Fubara.
Access good health.
My sincere apologies. I'm sure we're going to have more engagements in the future, but we're totally out of time. Blessing Fubara is a Rivers governorship aspirant under the NDC. Thank you, sir, for coming on the program. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's it on the program. Thanks for your time and company. I'm Jeffrey Uzonga. Bye-bye.